Good evening, everyone. It is so great to be with you again. We're going to continue our conversation of contraception. And why is that so important? Well, we know that pregnancy produces risks that can impact mother's health. And we know that when we practice contraception, we can delay pregnancy, and once you've had a baby, we also know that it's really important to space the birth of your next baby. We know that if you wait at least 18 months prior to becoming pregnant again after you've had a normal birth, that will increase the likelihood of better outcomes for the next pregnancy. We also know that after you've had a miscarriage or abortion, that it is possible for you to become pregnant within 2 weeks after that abortion or miscarriage has occurred. And so it's really important to understand the health benefits of contraception as you make decisions about that for your life. Before, we've talked about non hormonal contraceptives, meaning those contraceptives that do not require the use of hormones. You're not putting hormones into your body. And for many women, that's very, very important. Tonight, I want to talk about barrier contraceptives. But before we get started, I want to really encourage those of you who are listening to my video to like and subscribe to my channel. And why is that? When I look at the data for those who are looking at the content that I've put up, probably only 3% of those who are looking have actually subscribed to my videos. And so I would love to increase that number to 50%. I know that's a big jump, but we can do that. So please press that subscribe button. So tonight we're going to talk about what are called barrier methods of contraception. And what do I mean by barrier methods? Well, those are the methods that actually create a little bit of a barrier between the sperm and the egg. Those methods include the diaphragm, the cervical cap, male condoms, and female condoms. Let's walk through each of them, talking about their effectiveness rate, the pros and the cons. Okay, let's talk about them. So let's start out with what we know are very easy to get that you can get in your pharmacy are male and female condoms. And if you are living abroad and listening to my broadcast, you may be also able to get these methods from your community health worker or agents who are within your communities, depending on what country you live in. Now, these methods have a pretty good effectiveness rate. For male condoms, the effectiveness rate is 87%, meaning that if you use the condoms as you should effectively and with each act of intercourse, that it can be 87% effective. What's so nice about them is, again, you can easily obtain them. Some programs may even give them away for free. They do not require hormones or use hormones at all. They protect you against sexually transmitted infections, and that's an important thing to know. And once again, widely available, easy to use. The cons for that is men don't like to use condoms. Come on, brothers, let's think about this. They say that it is decreasing their sensation during sexual activity. And so we need to be aware of that. And so men may not want to use condoms for that reason. So let's talk about the female condom. The female condom, from my readings, are less effective than male condoms. They are also available. However, they may not be as widely available as male condoms. In the United States, you can obtain them within pharmacies. Abroad, they may be harder to obtain depending on whether or not your government supports female condoms within their family planning program. Now, what are the pros with this? Again, no hormones are needed to use the female condom. Another nice pro about this is that you can actually put in the female condom hours before you actually have intercourse. Whereas with the male condom, you kind of have to interrupt things to get that condom on and make sure it's fitting you properly. Um, Now, some of the cons is that it can be a little noisy. And so that for some people might be a bit of a problem. Um, but again, it requires correct placement for effectiveness. When you see the female condom, it's different than the male condom. It has a ring at the base and also towards the outside. And some people may not like touching themselves because you will need to touch yourself to insert the condom prior to intercourse. And for some women, they may have some qualms about that. The female condom is about 79% effective, a little less effective than the male condom. Now let's move to the diaphragm and the cervical cap. I want to say that for these methods to be effective, you must use them with a contraceptive gel. That must be used with the diaphragm and the cervical cap. Otherwise, there's nothing there that's going to kill the sperm at all. With the diaphragm, that has to be fitted by a professional. And usually the best time to fit for the diaphragm is around the 6 weeks after you've had your baby. That is because it allows the uterus to be back into place and back to its pre-pregnancy size. What is the pros for that is that, again, no hormones are required to use the diaphragm. You can also insert the diaphragm hours before having sexual intercourse. And it also, when you use with a contraceptive method, it has a good effectiveness rate of approximately 83%. With the cervical cap, it too has an effectiveness rate of about 83%. It too has to be fitted by a professional. The problem with the cervical cap is once you've had a baby, it may not be as effective. It actually, the effectiveness rate drops a lot from 83% down to 69%, which can be a big problem. Cervical caps may or may not be as available as other methods, such as the diaphragm. And so you would have to see if that's even present in your pharmacy. And I know from when I lived abroad that that was not an option. They were not available in the countries that I visited and where I have lived. Now, this is the information on the barrier methods of contraception. We're going to talk about hormonal contraceptives in our next time that we're together. Meantime, I'm going to ask you that if you have liked the content that I have presented, that you will like and that you will subscribe and that you will share this video with your friends, your family, as I will say, your aunts, your uncles, your mom, your dad, sisters, brothers, girlfriends, boyfriends, colleagues at work. Let everyone know about this information. And I hope that it has provided you with helpful information. I will look forward to seeing you again the next time. Have a great evening. Bye bye.